Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty specific, the kind of hardware that makes complex video setups actually work. We're looking at the WolfPack 4K HDMI splitter line from HDTV Supply. Our goal here isn't just to read off a spec sheet, but really understand what makes these little boxes tick, why they're so important when you want to send one high-quality source to, say, multiple TVs or projectors.
Exactly. We've been looking at the details for their 1x4 and 1x8 models. So that's one HDMI input and then either 4 or 8 identical outputs. And what we really want to focus on are the core capabilities, things like bandwidth and resolution support. What can they actually handle?
Okay, let's get right into it then. The big number they advertise seems to be 10.2 gigabits per second for video bandwidth. What does that number actually mean in practice? Like, what are the immediate limits?
Well, that 10.2 Gbps figure sets a pretty clear boundary. It means you've got a choice to make. If you want the highest frame rate, 4K at 50 or even 60 hertz, which is great for smooth motion.
Like for sports or gaming?
Right, exactly. For that, you have to use a slightly compressed color format called YCbCr 4.2.0. But if top-notch color accuracy is your priority, like maybe for graphic design or watching movies with really subtle color,
You want that 4.4.4 color space.
precisely. If you want full 4.4.4, then you're limited to 4K resolution at a lower refresh rate, specifically 30 hertz. So it's a trade-off right there.
That makes sense. So you have to kind of pick your poison based on the content. It's not just about the resolution number itself.
Definitely not. And these splitters do more than just push pixels. They support some really important standards and features. We're talking HDCP 1.4 compliance. That's the copy protection handshake.
Right. Got to have that.
Yeah. Plus support for 3D, which, well, maybe isn't as common now, but crucially, HDR. And not just basic HDR, but Dolby Vision, HDR10, and HDR10 plus All-Um. That's pretty comprehensive.
Dolby Vision support on a splitter like this is pretty significant. And what about the audio side? You mentioned it handles sound too. If I've got a fancy surround sound system, what can I expect?
It covers a really wide range of digital audio formats, things like standard LPCM 7.1 channel audio, but also the high-end lossless formats.
Like Dolby True HD?
Yep, Dolby True HD, DTS-HD Master Audio, the kind of stuff you get on Blu-rays. It also passes through deep color information, 30 or 36-bit color depth, and XVYCC for a wider color gamut. It really aims to preserve the full signal quality.
Okay, this next bit seems important, especially for installers or people with maybe slightly mismatched displays. EDID management. What even is EDID and why are there two modes on this splitter?
EDID. Extended Display Identification Data. Think of it like a digital name tag for your display. It tells the source device, your Blu-ray player, your game console, exactly what resolutions, refresh rates, and audio formats that display can handle.
So the source knows what to send.
Exactly. Now, when you have multiple displays connected to a splitter, the source needs to figure out what capabilities all of them share, or what single capability set it should use. That's where the management comes in. These WolfPack splitters give you two ways to handle that negotiation. Mode 1 is called STD for standard. It basically tells the source to default to a common, safe signal, usually 1080p at 60 hertz with basic stereo audio, kind of a fallback mode.
Okay, simple compatibility.
Right, mode 2 is TV mode. This is more sophisticated. It reads the EDID information only from the display connected to HDMI OUT1, and then it essentially tells the source device, hey, pretend all the connected displays are identical to this first one.
So if I have one really good 4K TV on output 1 and maybe some older 1080p screens on the others, using TV mode forces the source to send the best signal based on that first TV.
Well, it forces the source to think all displays can handle what output 1 can handle. This is great if all your displays are identical and high spec. It ensures you get the best possible signal. But if they're mismatched, using TV mode could cause issues on the lower spec screens if they can't handle the signal meant for output 1. STD mode might be safer then.
Gotcha. So you need to know your displays. The manual also mentions quick installation, like minutes, but it also talks about signal retiming and specific cable requirements needing AWG22 or 24 gauge for longer runs, up to 30 feet in, 50 feet out. How quick is it really if you need special cables?
The physical hookup is quick, plug and play basically. But you're right to focus on the cables. Pushing 10.2 GBPs reliably over copper wire, especially longer distances, absolutely requires good quality, properly shielded cable of the right gauge.
So the minutes claim assumes you have the right infrastructure already.
Pretty much. The signal retiming feature helps clean up the signal degradation that happens over distance, but it can't work miracles with bad cables. Using cheap, thin HDMI cables is asking for trouble with 4K signals, especially HDR. You need that robust AWG 22 or 24 gauge for those 30, 50-foot distances they mentioned.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big picture here? What does all this tech inside these WolfPack splitters tell us?
I think the key takeaway is that distributing high-quality modern video signals like 4K with Dolby Vision and lossless audio isn't trivial. It requires hardware that's not just about raw speed, that 10.2 Gbps bandwidth, but also intelligence like the EDID management we talked about.
Right, it's a balancing act. You need the pipe, but you also need traffic control.
Exactly. It shows how complex things get behind the scenes just to make sure you see the same perfect picture on multiple screens without glitches or dropouts. For anyone serious about setting up multi-display systems, understanding these specs, bandwidth limits, color spaces, EDID, it's really essential.
Absolutely. It highlights that every component in the chain matters. So if you're looking into this kind of gear, maybe for a home theater setup, a business presentation system, or something else entirely, and you want to check out these WolfPack splitters, including that 1x8 model, well, we recommend you visit HDTV SCP, the